What is up, everybody? This is John with Archer Film. All right, up next we have Hereditary and Ari Aster. One of the most exciting and promising filmmakers working right now. He's got some of the most interesting stuff. His films require multiple viewings to me. And I got Midsummer on deck as well. But for this one, his debut, Hereditary, it is so close to being perfect. All of his movies, to me, feel very close to being perfect. The thing about this movie that is so unsettling and disturbing to me is the casting and the family dynamic. The performances are so amazing. Toni Collette and Alex Wolff are so good in this that, it makes the movie for me. And some of these scenes are so unsettling and disturbing, and just beautifully shot. He knows how to stage these things. You can watch breakdown videos of certain scenes, and it just shows that he knows what he's doing with the camera. It is fantastic. So, the plot is not really important. It's just the death of the matriarch of this family, the grandmother, kind of triggers all these events. It starts with the daughter, Toni Collette, saying that, the grandmother was secretive. She had secretive friends and rituals, blah, 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 which, of course, is the plot of the movie. We slowly start to uncover that, they were doing these ritualistic things to try to summon a demon called Payman. I'm not going to get into the details of that or the big twist that's like at the end of Act 1 with the daughter. I'm really going to get into more of what I think are the pluses and the negatives of this movie. Again, I loved it. I've seen it a couple times. When I saw it in the theater, I loved it. But for me, a movie hinges on the ending. If you do not stick the ending, then what is it all for? And so far, with all three of Ari Aster's big movies, Midsummer, Hereditary, and Beau is Afraid, he has so many intriguing and interesting things going on, some disturbing moments, unsettling stuff, some of the best horror ever, and then he fails to stick the ending in all three of these movies. The problem with this movie is we're following one character, Toni Collette, as she drives the narrative forward through most of the movie. And then at the end, it switches and becomes Alex Wolff's story. And then we have the ending, which I thought was absolutely silly. It's the ritual going on, and it just seemed like silly magic nonsense. Now, that stuff in the background or underneath the surface is very intriguing. If you have this family drama and this family dynamic and this family being torn apart by these deaths and by this loss, by this grief, that is really fascinating, and that is what keeps you intrigued and wanting to watch this movie. You want to see how that is resolved. But if you put the supernatural magic stuff first, almost like as the A plot, and then that's what you climax last, it feels silly to me. And that's how the ending felt. One, they switched the main character from Toni Collette to Alex Wolff, which I thought was a mistake. She's driving the narrative, and then suddenly she's in the background, she's the bad guy, and Alex Wolff is the main character. I just thought that was a mistake to do, and it leaves Toni Collette and all the questions around that character kind of unresolved. And then, of course, the sort of ritual, magical nonsense ending. I'm like, that can be underneath. That has to be underneath. But, like, the ending of Rosemary's Baby, you have all that stuff in there as well. And or even like The Exorcist, but the ending doesn't climax with that. You don't have the magical ritual as the ending of the movie. I thought that was just kind of silly, and it took away from the seriousness and the impact of the family dynamic. You have to end it with the character stuff. I think the plot stuff like that. That was just a mistake, and it kind of feels like it, where you're like, oh, this could have been fucking perfect, and it ends up being like, oh, a slightly disappointing. But check out Hereditary because it is very unsettling and worth watching. All right, that is it for me. Stay tuned for the next video. I'll see you tomorrow.